Evelyn could say some things out her mouth that are really cutting.
But your daughters are being held emotionally hostage to your ex-wife's bitterness towards you. You and her need to get on the same side of the table and free those girls. Because the elephant in the room that nobody will talk about is Evelyn Braxton's attitude.
Your mother run your life.
How dare he try to tell me how to raise my kids after he have abandoned us? He has some nerve.
Y'all have lives to live yourself, and she can't run her life, her home, and your home too.
You know what? Had you been home long enough to help me to raise them, it wouldn't be such a problem. But where were you? Out there being in the street, doing whatever you were big enough to do.
All day long?
What did you do?
What did you do?
Talk around Toni Braxton and her relationship with Evelyn Braxton has picked up again, with claims that long-standing family tension and past experiences may have contributed to emotional strain between them and the rest of the Braxton sisters. Over the years, especially on Braxton Family Values, fans have seen glimpses of how responsibility, financial pressure, and family expectations often seem to fall heavily on Toni, which could naturally create distance. Some interpretations suggest she's pulled back to protect her own peace, while others feel family dynamics are more complex and can't be placed on one person alone. Ultimately, whether or not blame is justified depends on perspective, but it's clear the situation reflects deeper issues about boundaries, support, and the pressure that can come with being the most successful member of a tight-knit family.
But the responsibility of it is so heavy for me. I feel I can never live my life, and I never used to say it. I never used to say anything to anybody, but since we've been doing this show.
Toni Braxton has, at different points, hinted that carrying the weight of her family alongside her career wasn't easy, and viewers of Braxton Family Values often saw her holding back emotions while conflicts played out among the sisters. After more than a decade of very public ups and downs, some fans feel the family dynamic hasn't changed much, which adds context to why Toni might seem distant or guarded. At the center of the conversation is Evelyn Braxton, whose strong personality and past experiences have shaped much of the family's story, though opinions differ on how much responsibility she should carry. Her recent announcement about writing a book, focusing on her marriage to Michael Braxton and the hardships she faced, including infidelity, adds another layer, suggesting she wants to tell her side and reflect on how those events impacted her life and family. Altogether, it paints a picture of a complicated, long-running family situation where personal history, public exposure, and unresolved tension all play a role.
You went to my house and had sex in my bed? So you mad with me? You know? You mad with me because you bring this woman in my bathroom and y'all have sex in my bathroom with the candles?
It was romantic, Lord.
Candles all around the tub? And she's gonna leave her big underwear on the floor? So you mad with me because I would not tolerate this mess?
The situation described around Evelyn Braxton and her past marriage to Michael Braxton highlights how deeply personal betrayal can ripple through an entire family, especially when it's never fully resolved. While Evelyn has spoken about the pain of infidelity and rebuilding her life, critics and viewers of Braxton Family Values often point out that unresolved resentment can sometimes show up in other ways, particularly in how expectations and loyalties are handled within the family. The idea that children felt pressure to choose sides or align with one parent is something that, if true, can create long-term emotional strain, especially for someone like Toni Braxton, who is trying to balance her own success with maintaining relationships on both sides. Over time, that dynamic, combined with financial expectations and the pressure of being the most successful sibling, can make it feel less like support and more like obligation, which may explain why Toni has sometimes appeared distant or overwhelmed. Ultimately, situations like this are rarely one-sided, but they do show how unresolved conflict and family roles can shape relationships for years.
I feel like I do. I feel like they don't let me fly. I don't give myself permission to fly because
There you go. That's it.
I've waited.
That's it.
Public records and interviews with Toni Braxton show that she faced major financial difficulties at different points in her career, including multiple bankruptcies that were widely reported and often linked to early recording contracts, health challenges, and mounting debt. At the same time, her role within Braxton Family Values often portrayed her as the family's main financial support, with fans frequently discussing how she appeared to help cover expenses or stabilize situations involving her siblings. This combination of personal setbacks and family responsibility has shaped the public perception of her as someone under constant pressure to maintain both her own stability and her family's expectations, reflecting how complicated financial success and family dynamics can become when both are tied to a public career.
Now, friends, when we talking about the Braxton family values, we really got to talk about the real problem, the mama. The mama was causing so many problems. The mama was the reason why all them girls had an issue with each other. That she was the reason why all of them had some type of deep-rooted issue with each other. Because every time, and I mean every time she sat there and led the discussion, it showed you're the reason why this girl feels like this. You are egging a lot of things on instead of really nipping it in the bud.
There have been ongoing discussions and speculation around Toni Braxton, especially in relation to her health struggles and her diagnosis of systemic lupus erythematosus, with some people online linking flare-ups of the illness to stress and long-standing family tensions shown on Braxton family values. However, medically speaking, lupus is a complex autoimmune condition with many possible triggers, and there is no confirmed evidence that family conflict directly causes it, even though stress can sometimes worsen symptoms. Over the years, Toni has also been open about setting boundaries with her family, particularly with Evelyn Braxton, which fans often interpret as distance or separation, though reality TV narratives can exaggerate or oversimplify real relationships. While rumors about cutting ties for the cameras circulate frequently, the actual situation appears to be more nuanced, involving a mix of health management, personal boundaries, and the pressures of being part of a public family dynamic.
Let me know if you're picking up what I'm putting down. So looking at Tina Knowles and her children, and looking at Evelyn Braxton and her girls, is proof to me that forgiveness or unforgiveness and bitterness can trickle down to your kids. I feel like Tina Knowles is the reason why Solange and Beyonce are able to persevere and press through adversity with grace and poise. I know this is a weird way to put it, but Beyonce and Solange was able to see their parents go through a healthy divorce. Even Miss Tina acknowledged that they did not go back and forth. And honestly, she had every reason to be bitter and not forgive him for having an outside baby on her. And then on the other hand, we can look at Miss Evelyn Braxton and see why her daughters are still on each other's neck in their 40s and 50s.
Public discussion around Toni Braxton and her family often centers on their complicated dynamics as shown on Braxton Family Values, where emotions, disagreements, and generational tension were frequently part of the storyline. Many viewers have expressed sympathy for Toni and some of her sisters, especially in moments where they appeared overwhelmed by expectations or family pressure. At the center of those conversations is Evelyn Braxton, whose strong personality and outspoken approach to family issues has been interpreted in different ways. Some see it as protective and rooted in past hardship, while others view it as contributing to conflict within the household. Ultimately, much of what people take away from the show depends on perspective, since reality television often highlights emotional peaks rather than the full context of everyday family relationships, making it difficult to label any one person as the problem in a simple or definitive way.